Armageddon, but one player who needs to play energetic chess and create his chance.
Back to the start, it was a Sicilian defense, it was his pet line, an open Sicilian, and these Neidorf, so with a6, but this is a must-win situation. Look at this move, Queen d3, already a rare one, and Maxime playing some very provocative moves. Firstly, combining the Sicilian Neidorf with the Sicilian Dragon, something we mesh together, we call the Dragadorf. This is very risky, where he only needs a draw. This feels strange, but now pawn to b5 allowed this trick. The knight into c6 is a weak square, and it looks like he was bluffing. He didn't calculate Maxime Vachier Lagrave. He allowed this trick to land, and rather than enter that, I think, Robert, your queen sack idea was probably just winning in practical terms for white. Instead, he's gone bishop to b7, so accepting that he might be a pawn down, but relying on activity of pieces. White's e4 pawn is slightly vulnerable as well.
It's wild, though, that black just lost a pawn in front of his own king. Simply develops the bishop, and the engine's kind of like...
Alireza Firouzja, he's currently had one match win this tournament. He is trailing Maxime Vachier Lagrave in their mini-match. And my gut feeling looking at the board in front of us is that he should be very happy with what he's got out of the opening. What on earth is that?
Bang. Knight sacrifice, but you cannot take this piece. It is poisoned. The black king should not be feeling brave about taking that knight right now. Wow, what a boss move. Firouzja gets up from the board as well. And Maxime Vachier Lagrave, he spent barely any time up to this point. He's either blundered or he's in deep preparation. And Firouzja, it looks like he's feeling extremely confident. Let's just show this trick on the board. Knight takes pawn. Let's do an action replay, taking on e7 here. And if the king advances, this is a nasty royal fork. Hitting the king, hitting the queen, winning one of them because black's knight is pinned and cannot recapture.
I think it gets even juicier if we keep analyzing. Instead of this king takes knight, because that's clearly that knight c5 is a counter shot against the white queen. I'm throwing take your queen to the check. And if this queen slides up to d4 to put more pressure on this knight on f6, I think that in this position you'd be tempted as black to play knight e6. Let me keep chasing your queen around. Is there queen takes f6 here? Like, I was wondering, are this one of those positions where you sack your queen and then bring your knight back to d5? And the engine actually approves. Knight e7 to d5 here, hitting the queen on c7, hitting the bishop on f6. Things are getting really well. Maybe knight c3. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I just thought queen sacrifice. Oh, that's simple, huh? I wanted to do a fork.
I love it, Robert, though. I mean, yes, you've given up a queen, but you have a beautiful bishop. This might be the MVP, the most visually appealing piece right now. And knight back to d5, or one of the knights, as you mentioned, into d5, and black's king is stuck in the center forever. This is beautiful compensation for white. I think Firouzja will win if he gets to drop this on the board.
Stunning move by Alireza Firouzja, and while those knights are knighting, it looks like Maxime allowed this move, knight takes pawn. David, I want us to just back down a little bit and see how this actually happened, because we're on move number 11. How did Maxime actually let all of this befall him? Knight takes pawn and suddenly big trouble, and Maxime in a think. So did he miss this opportunity?
We're still early in the game, Tanya, so maybe we do have the luxury of time.
the color bishops. Can Firouzja make something out of Maxime's king on 8-6?
Oof. It's going to be difficult. The problem is White's rook is stuck on the first rank, cannot lift up the board. The White rook cannot swing across to give checks because there's some vulnerability on the first rank, and suddenly retreating like this is not a good sign. Black's king can even slide back to g7 at the right moment. He did actually miss a win a bit earlier for Firouzja, and now with no time as well. Opposite color bishops, this should be safe.
He looks like he knows that. You see Firouzja grabbing his head, and Maxime Vachier Lagrave with the dark square bishop has been a holy beast. He beat Wesley So in that game with the dark square bishop landing a checkmate. Right now that bishop is defending his king, so I don't see an attack anymore. Black has both the 7th rank and all the important squares covered. It looks to me like it should be holdable for Maxime if there are no more threats.
Yeah, if anyone's better, it might even be Black because of the superiority of his bishop. And okay, now the White king is vulnerable in multi-com off. This is over. Maxime Vachier Lagrave, a massive favourite now. Clock, board, everything under control.
Yeah, he was already threatening a check on the long diagonal. That last move by Alireza sliding the rook to the d file, hints at blocking it on the d5 square. But it is Alireza's king that's feeling the heat now.
Yeah, it's White's king. Simply less protection. White has 2 pawns in front of his king. Black has 3 pawns. It's simple. It's a simple count there. And I think he's going to try and actually trade pieces off. First, he nearly got a heart attack there, Robert.
Yeah, because that queen square was covered and it almost happened, but no, he was just tricking us here in the studio. This is everything under control, but maybe there will be a tactic that Alireza can find just to distract Maxime, but 3+ minutes, I think Maxime he's really doing everything perfectly.
Yeah, if Maxime was down at around the same amount of time as Firouzja, maybe a chance, but wow, did you see how calm he was there? He made that move with 1 second, but just lethargically, just calmly, maybe not believing in his chances.
That's the move that I would take 45 minutes to make with my queen and the rook lined up, and the h-pawn has arrived on h4. Alireza gets the rook on the open file, but there are all these discovered ideas on the e-line targeting the white queen.
Yep, and for now, Black's rook is undefended, so maybe nothing decisive right now, but he's lining up. Now he defends his rook, Tanya. Your idea on the cards. Black's queen, rook, bishop, they're all placed so perfectly, such good harmony.
Yes, amazing geometry, because the queen and the bishop are also eyeing that pawn on g3 in front of the white king, and now they're eyeing it directly. So Firouzja forced to defend it with the queen. He couldn't have really traded off given the match situation.
Can he take the pawn still? Because there's a tactic. And he doesn't play it, he's just trying to trade queens. I think he could have stolen that pawn because there were tactics available to him, but